So service and technical support is one way. Is there any other business model perhaps?
Other business model around open source, so it completely depends on how exactly you would want your product to be developed. So it's not very in open source world, it is not very unheard of to have dual licensing.
Okay.
So you have two different kind of licensing available for enterprise customers and for normal open source developers and people who would just want to download it and use it. So that's one way through which you can have dual licenses available. And the other business models could be where you customize your for example, say you come down to me and you would want hey I would want to have a different version of Open Solaris for specific, which satisfies certain specific needs for my company. And people who provide support on Open Solaris can actually customize that and come with a custom distribution of Open Solaris for your for say Digit, and that is something through which where people can make money. So there are multiple ways in which there can be involvement in terms of making money, and open source developers have they are known for their technical skills
and passion.
And passion, of course. So, and these are two things which which are the prerequisites to make it a big time career in the world of IT. So open source developers are always in demand and they always make good money. Most of the time, you would see that open source developers who have a very credible history of contributing to open source, they also have very good potential to make money. And that's, in my personal opinion, open source opens up lots of gates for people to have a very viable and enriching career in IT.
Okay, so that's an interesting way to contribute. What I would like to know is, are there any specific developer tools available on Open Solaris? And is it possible to build Open Solaris from source?
Yes, so the answer to your question for both of them, yes, there are a lot of tools, developer tools available, and it is definitely possible to build Open Solaris right from source. So your readers, you can just go and see this website which is there on your screen to check out how to build Open Solaris right from source. Yeah, that's one thing which you can do. You can build the whole Open Solaris kernel right from source. And as far as developer tools are concerned, so there are a lot of developer tools available on Open Solaris, and which is one of the distinguishing features of Open Solaris. For example, let's talk of integrated development environment. So you have NetBeans, you have Sun Studio, which are very well known and very popular developer tools for developing applications on C, C++, Java, to different things like parallel programming or high performance computing. All that you can do using Sun Studio. You can use NetBeans for easy drag and drop development for desktop applications, web applications, PHP. And in fact, those who are web developers who would like to make interesting websites, host such websites from their home and things like that, Open Solaris has a very easy Web 2.0 set of tools which is called AMP. You have to just install an app package. You have PHP, MySQL and Apache pre-configured, right? So you can start developing your PHP applications very easily on Open Solaris. You can use NetBeans as an IDE. There are various code, source code management software which comes pre-built in Open Solaris. For example, Mercury. You can very easily see differences between various versions of the code which you have written. You can mix, match, merge. Most of the time it happens that you develop one version of the software and it works, and then you make certain changes and suddenly it doesn't work, right? So
keeping track of that is
it's crazy. You know that. So in this case, what you can do is you can have these. You can use these version control system very easily in Open Solaris, and then of course you have things like ZFS where you can keep taking snapshots and you can clone your whole environment and then do very interesting and fancy stuff with it. So there are a lot of developers tools available, as well as from the operating system level itself, your file system, your process architecture itself. They are all very developer friendly. when it comes down to Open Solaris.
Very often you think that it worked on that day, so you want to go back to that day and start from there. So I think your
time sliders. Yes, exactly. In fact, you see, Open Solaris, it shares its history with Solaris, which was developed, like right in 1980s, where it used to run on big servers. So right from the very beginning, it was meant to be very developer friendly, where your application should run, without any issues for years on, without requiring a restart in those kind of setup. So it was a very rugged and strong and stable operating system. So the whole focus of development of Solaris was to provide a very stable operating system, which allows you to run applications, enterprise class applications without any problems. So Open Solaris, to a level, it maintains that stability and ruggedness, and at the same time provides very interesting developer tools, which makes programmers' life very easy and very enjoyable, which is something which very rarely happens.
So that was quite interesting. So to sum it up, overall, what can Open Solaris do for software programmers or developers?
Yes, so you see, Open Solaris has a lot to offer to software developers, to programmers. For example, it can work as a very good platform for software development, just because of the sheer amount of tools which are available. So you can use things like dtrace to debug and optimize your applications. You can use compilers like Sun Studio, and in fact all your GCC and GNU developer toolchain is available in Open Solaris, and it works flawlessly. You can develop such applications, and these days if you see, we have been seeing a shift towards cloud computing, where you're developing most of your software to run on servers. Right? So because there are so many such cool things which are available on Open Solaris, which makes it a server class operating system, you can develop your application to run on Open Solaris and then deploy it on an Open Solaris based server and make them run. So if you want to do that, you can always do that. And then if you want to just use it as a for developing desktop applications, you can do that as well with such rich API IDEs like NetBeans and Sun Studio. So there are a lot of things which you can do with Open Solaris as a software developer, and you have to just try it out to see. And your creativity is the only limit. Open Solaris gives you so many tools that it's like having different colors. You mix and match in different combination, in different possible ways, and then you come out with very interesting applications at the end.
So from what you've been saying so far, Open Solaris is a very robust platform. However, there are other open source communities as well. You have Linux communities, many other open source communities. Why would you recommend Open Solaris?
So you see, from the community perspective, Open Solaris is a very structured open source community. Okay. And one of the challenges which I faced when I was growing up as an open source developer was to understand this whole open source culture, right? Because there are a lot of things, right from the governing of our open source project till the end of it. There are a lot of things which which happen, which you need to somehow understand. Open Solaris community is a very friendly community. Okay, there are a lot of user groups, and because it is very well structured, very well organized, it is not that difficult to understand as to how to find your ways out. Plus, there are enough number of resources, well documented procedures available for people to go and have a look at and understand what they need to do next.
So there's strong documentation.
There is a very strong documentation available. From that point, I see that Open Solaris community as well as supporters of Open Solaris community have done a very good job in terms of documenting the whole process. So you have enough number of tutorials available. For example, let me give you a example. I recently came across a document which describes how to write device drivers on Open Solaris. Okay, so and there is a device drivers community in Open Solaris. So if you want to develop your own device driver, right, all you have to do is just have that manual at hand, and you already have enough documentation available to understand what people are talking about over there. So that way, Open Solaris is a very easy to understand open source community, as well as it is very well structured, and someone who would want to be an open source contributor, it's a good place to start.